Once you understand the difference between class attribute and class instance, let's take a look at what is namespace, or you can say scope. So in this lecture, we're going to talk about Python namespace, or you can say scope. By default, you can access the attributes of the object from the outside. We can access it using class instance. We already learned that in the previous lecture. But some programmers feel that it breaks with the principle of encapsulation. They believe that the state of the object should be completely hidden, or you can say inaccessible to the outside world. Now the question comes in, why you hide them from the world? Now suppose you have a class here, person, and in this class you have a name attribute, and you have default value to this name attribute. So as you know, anyone can access this name attribute and change its value. You don't want to do that because you have some private data inside it. You need to just allow user to access it. You don't want to allow the user to modify the private attribute and methods from outside. To make a method or attribute private, or you can say inaccessible from the outside, simply start the name with to underscore. Let me show you a very simple example. I'm going to create here a new class. So I'm going to start with a class keyword and then specify name to this class. So I'm going to say here secret. Then I'm going to specify scope of this class, and in this scope I'm going to simply create a new method. So I'm going to start with define keyword, and then I'm going to specify method name here, and I'm going to just start this method name with double underscore, just like this. And then I'm going to say secret method, specify parentheses with the self keyword, and then I'm going to just print in the single quote inaccessible method, just like this. Just for that, here I'm going to create another method, define, and to this method I'm going to specify name show, and in this method I'm going to say self dot secret method, just like this. Now let me show you the magic of the secret method. Let me just create here an object. So here I'm going to say obj is equal to secret. So I'm going to create an instance of this class using this object. So I'm going to have instance of this class in this object. Let me just access the method of this class. So let me first access this show method. So here I'm going to say obj dot show. When I execute this file, you can notice I'm going to have inaccessible method text. Now what if I try to access this method, secret method? So if I just say here obj dot double underscore secret method, then you can notice you don't have access to this method. Let me just copy this name and put that here just like this with parentheses, and when I try to execute this file, I'm going to get an error message. Now I'm going to get this error message because I specify secret data inside this method. To make anything invisible from outside world, you can use a double underscore before the method or before the attribute. Now let me just create here a simple class attribute. Here I'm going to say name is equal to daily. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change the value of this name attribute. So here I'm going to just call obj dot name is equal to tuition. When I try to print this object dot name variable, you can notice I'm going to have tuition as a result. So I can change the value of this name attribute. Now what if I want to make this name attribute secret? I don't want to allow anyone to access this name variable. I want to make this name variable secret. To make it, I want to just hide this name variable from the outside world. I don't want to allow the user to change the value of this name variable. Instead, I just want to allow the user to access this variable instead of changing it. To make this attribute secret, I'm going to just start this attribute with double underscore, just like this. If I just say here print obj dot name, and when I try to execute this file, I'm going to get an error message. That is because the name attribute is not there in this class. Because I don't want to allow anyone to modify the value of this attribute. So the question comes in, how do I allow user to access this value? I can use a method for that. So here you can notice I'm using show method to show the secret of this method. I'm going to use the same method for that. So for example, if I just get rid of this method from here, and if I try to access this name variable just like this, and I'm going to just get rid of this statement, and now I'm going to just return self.name just like this. Let me just print this statement just like this. When I try to print this file, you can notice I'm going to have daily as a result. So now you can notice I can access this secret variable using this method. Now you can notice the name attribute is accessible, but we just don't allow user to modify this attribute. So this is how you can secure your data whenever you want. So this is how you can specify your own scope to your methods and class attributes. So whenever you want to make something secret only for your class, you can just specify double underscore before the name. I hope you understand how easy it is to specify your own scope to your class attributes and methods. In the next lecture, we are going to talk about a very important topic in object-oriented programming, which is polymorphism. So I will see you in the next one.